Welcome back, everyone. This is
Chevy.
and Key, and we want to talk a little bit about having friendships when you are married, having friendships with people, or shall I say, other couples. And sometimes the importance of that is it's something that can actually help reinforce your marriage. And so there are some pros and cons to that.
The problem is I don't have much experience with that
Hmm.
because we've been on our own together for a while.
For the
Yeah,
majority, right,
for
for
the
the
majority of
majority
the
of the
marriage.
marriage. So
So
that's one of the topics that we were actually just thinking about based on our own, experience. I know that when I met Chevy, I didn't have a lot of friends that were married. I had three friends who were married at the time. And Chevy, how many would you say you had that were married? You did know
just just people in the church.
Graylin
Yeah,
and his
William,
wife,
William.
right? William.
Yeah,
I'm talking about like your
those were
friends,
friends.
William and his wife. You would
Yeah,
consider because I never
yeah.
met his wife in the capacity of okay, a couple, and this
Right.
is your, friend and his
Yeah.
wife. So I wouldn't consider William.
I went to his house many times and stuff like
Not
that.
while you were with me. I'm talking
You
about
know,
from when
so
we met going
it's
forward.
like I don't know. It seemed like I still speak to them on Facebook and stuff like that, but it's like we just lost them. I got lost in the shuffle.
So basically, Chevy didn't have any friends once he met me that he was actively engaging in different
All right.
social events or just coming together and meeting up, even if it be once or twice every, couple of months. Going back to what I was saying, I did have three of my friends who were married, and then one of my friends is kind of like a brother to me. He got married shortly after Chev and I got married.
You know, we went to Atlanta for that, was it? Where did we go to for the wedding?
Okay, you okay? Let's back up. You're thinking of my friend Howard,
Right.
who got married in Orlando. I was actually, and I'm glad you did bring him up too, but he got married before us. He got married a month before us. But I'm talking about Mikey. Mikey got married in
Mm-hmm.
2010, actually
Yeah.
2011. I'm sorry. And so, him, and Veronica, we did two or three things with, like on a social level, going out and
Yeah.
mingling with them. Um,
But that busted up.
One thing that I will say is having, you don't have to have like a lot of couples, married couples that you're friends with, but it serves your marriage better, in my opinion, when you have at least one or two couples that you can share in doing different social activities with and coming together and having those extensions of okay, the man having an extension of the relationship he has with you, as the woman you have an extension um friendship with a woman who's married, and so it kind of helps where you're not left hanging with some of the issues that may arise in your marriage. You have people that you could talk to. um Not to say that you're going to divulge all of your most intimate details and parts of what's going on in your relationship, but to just be able to, on a broader sense, be able to discuss some topics and see if they can relate, which a lot of times I think they can relate even if they haven't gone through the same exact situation. Something similar, they could relate to a certain extent. And then knowing that married couples are not doing what single people are doing. I mean, for the most part, it's just, it comes to a point where you're married, you're doing stuff differently. And I think the number one benefit of having friends who are married, married couples as friends, is that you get to share in
Experiences.
right activities that help reinforce your relationship, sharing in similar interest, traveling, you know, um, going to church with. Because, like Chevy was saying, he has his friends that he knew before he met me who were married. It's just that once we got together, they really did not have that strong, I would say, interaction, regular interaction. I do know who he's referring to, William and his
Marion.
wife, Marion, but I don't know. I mean, I think that that's something that would have been better for us. Like, I have my long time, she's really a sister of mine. She, long time friend that is more like a sister, that she got married, and I'm talking about Paula. She got married
Mm-hmm.
after we did. Once again, she got married. We went out once or twice with her, and now that's her ex husband. But we did go out with her
And
and
now
her
he's preaching
husband. Right. Just
ministry.
a ministry that I just feel like if we had more friends
Mm-hmm.
that not only were married but stayed married, because that's another thing. A lot, like Graylin and his wife got divorced. His wife got him and his wife got divorced before we got married or right after.
Right after.
Right. I know it was very short lived in my relationship with you. It wasn't a long time that they were married. But yeah, so I think that's one of the biggest benefits. What would you say is a benefit of having married couples as friends?
Well, I think it would be good to be able to talk about things, situations that we each experience
Mhm.
and work it out.
Mhm.
Um, that's about it, really.
As a benefit.
Yeah.
So some of the cons of not having friends who are married, and I'll just speak on this from one thing I know I experienced. A lot of my friends, like I said, were not married. um, and we had, of course, strong bonds before I met Chevy. And so after I met Chevy, I mean, I clearly defined my place in their lives, their place in my lives as a married woman. I mean, clearly it was different once I'm married. I do not have the same capacity to just go out, and not just about the time that I have available, but I do not have the luxury of going to certain places and events with single women because I am married. It was not difficult for me to have those boundaries set. I had been married before. Chevy was.
Mhm.
definitely
Of course,
understanding.
you also had 4 kids, which set some boundaries too.
Right. But even with having children, I feel that if you are married versus single, right? If you're not in a marriage and you have 4 children, because there was a few years that I was 4 children and not married.
Hmm.
And I did get to go because I had my father and my family and friends that were able to watch the kids, and
That
their father
also,
watched
yeah.
them. I was able to go to California, not California, Washington for a week. Not to say that being married to you, I could not travel and do stuff with my friends, but it's clearly different being a married woman. The same with Chevy. Although Chevy's a homebody type of person, he really doesn't like to go out that much. But for you, babe, wouldn't you say that being married versus being single, the years right before you got with me being single, it was different?
I was a homebody then.
I mean, yeah, I mean,
that's that's neither here nor there for me. Um,
it was more about your mindset still, though.
mhm.
You weren't trying to.
I'm trying to be Mr. Social.
Either way, you're saying.
Yeah,
For him, he's not a good example because he would go fishing, and when he was single, he would go
yeah.
fishing and get him something to eat and go back to his place, and
I mean, even in work, what did I do?
yeah,
I went to Key West to deliver a car.
right,
I took Maurice with me.
right. You took our son.
And we went fishing on the way back.
Hmm.
That is where I have my fun. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I,
Chevy's not a real good example from showing a difference between single life and married life. But I still think that you would agree that as a single man, your mindset was even if it's slightly different than when you became this married man, with children, as far as taking on me and the kids. It was different, even if it was in the slightest way. It was different for you. Your mindset in terms of how your day is set up, you don't have that freedom like you're single when you're married
yeah, when we were married, we were going out to the club, and we still were going out to the club and stuff like that.
together
Yes,
versus when you're single, you're going out by yourself
right.
or with
And it was, I didn't I didn't find that excitement in doing all of that. It
mhm,
was just to me that was the shallow part.
mhm.
Not doing anything constructive really.
Okay. I mean,
So
and to be honest,
that was my
I
opinion of it.
yeah, to be honest, I really wasn't doing a lot of clubbing. By the time I met you, I had tapered down with clubbing. Traveling was the
Yeah, we
biggest.
went out a few times.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
go out and listen to some jazz, eat some food, have some nice drinks, and enjoy ourselves was, to me, very important for us to reinforce our bond. Like you have to have date nights. I'm a strong believer in that. I found that when I met Chevy, I was 30 and I was 31 actually. I was at a point where I did not want to go out on the single dating scene because that's just something I wasn't interested in. Even though I was divorced and typically at some point you get back out on the dating scene to meet other singles and potentially date and whatever what have you, but I just at that point where I met Chevy, I was not interested. I was doing a lot of self um, reflection and self improvement, working on me, investing in my children.
Mm-hmm.
My career was taking a turn for the better at that point too. So
We
I
were
just
more
wasn't interested in that
we were more
dating.
interested in going out to the kids' basketball games and stuff like that. That was the fulfillment.
Right. It was
Yeah.
a family oriented life for us from the onset. I mean,
Yeah.
I have four children all under the age of 12. So at that point, when we started, it definitely was a focus on family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Chev, he really was good in supporting me being a mother of, middle school and elementary age children. Another thing that some of you may or may not know, I don't think I've shared this though, so most of you don't know, that as soon as I met Chevy, my father passed away 18 months later. And so for me, I say as soon as I met him, yeah, it just seemed like the time flew by. Literally, it was like one, two, three. My dad and him were able to go to a Heat game, luckily, and have time to get to know each other on a deeper level. However, my father was out of here 18, and I never realized how fast everything happened.
Yeah, I believe that I was brought into this dynamic by God, and He has proved Himself many times in this dynamic. So, yeah,
And when my father
give God the
passed
glory.
away, yeah, it's like when my father passed away, Chevy and I got really centered. Like our relationship started out where we were going to church and Bible study and
Mm-hmm.
reinforcing certain spiritual, like a spiritual grounding and foundations for my children. And it got to a point where we made that our family time, family fun
Mm-hmm.
time, because they had a lot of good activities. I love how they had the children's ministry
Yeah,
at the
that's right.
church.
That's right.
And Chevy was already a member for many years by the time I met him.
I
So,
was a teacher in the children's church.
right.
I even forgot about that.
So that was an incredible experience meeting a man who had a strong foundation with me meeting him, not him trying to start out and find his way, but him having that.
Yeah,
And the
I'm
first
sorry to
six
hear about
years, yeah, the first 6 years were incredible. It helped us navigate a lot better because I think with everything that was coming up and what we were faced with and a lot of the obstacles, if we were not grounded in our spiritual life, I think it would have been a big explosion. So yeah, having going back to the whole concept of having couples, friends who are married, when you're married, it really is a strong reinforcer for keeping those certain perspectives and like grounding you in your relationship as a married couple. Like you could be around people who may just be dating long term and have strong relationships but not necessarily married. I don't think that that's a bad thing, but I don't think it quite serves you as well as having couples who are married and have been married for some time, you know.
Yeah, I don't want to bring up anything, but I remember that one time we were out and we saw um
Oh,
a
one
guy
of
that
my
was dating your
friends.
friend.
Yeah, one of my friends, her child's father, she was dating. They was in a long term relationship but never got married, and yeah, we saw him out with another woman, and that was unfortunate. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Um, however, it happened, and we had to move forward, and they're no longer together. However, everything happens, I believe, for a reason. But we really don't have a lot of friends that are married at this point. Like, if I really were to just sit here and take a mental, let me see, yeah, I think we only have
And it's kind of strange.
only have
It's kind of
two.
strange that these people, these women, because this those what your friends were women,
They were
and
women.
they
They're no longer married,
they're no longer young women,
right?
and they still have no relationships
They
as
don't
far as
have any committed.
right.
Yeah, not to say they don't have any relationship. They just don't have
R-
committed.
Yeah, and that with the time that's gone by, that's kind of
It's unfortunate,
yeah.
and I pray
That's the
for
word,
my
unfortunate.
yeah. I pray for my friends that have not found a solid committed relationship that they can be in, even if they have their ups and downs. In that
Hmm.
solid committed relationship, needless to say, I mean, we all go through stuff, but it's unfortunate when you do find yourself wanting it. That's another thing, wanting those committed marriage, and just wanting something and never being able to attain that, and or maintain it if you ever get into it. Like I said, I've had three friends who got divorced during the time that me and Chevy have been married. And I mean, when I say divorce, I'm talking about divorce, bad terms, don't really speak. One of my friends, like my guy friend, got divorced, and they do at least stay civil for the
Got
fact
two
that they have
children.
children. But that's not the same as maybe going your separate ways, but keeping more than just the basic civility for the sake of the kids. But anyway,
It's just a thought of what I'm saying as the years that have gone by and no committed relationships,
mhm.
and they're missing out on so much.
Oh, and your friend, um, Eddie, he got divorced.
Mm-hmm.
Chevy had a friend that and once again, friends that he knew before meeting me
Right.
even. I remember we never went out. His friend and his wife and Chevy and I never went out together, but they got divorced. Needless to say, they got divorced. And a lot of these people were married for 20 plus years, so try your best if you can relate to being married and not really having friends who are married. Try your best to reevaluate your circle, your friendship circle. Chevy and I, we have made it this far. Fortunately, not having a lot of married couples that we're friends with and doing things with. We're at another phase in our life. Hopefully, maybe
Mm.
we might just look to find a church home up here, maybe meet some people, not pressed to go out and, look to meet people, but if it happens organically, fine. But I do believe it would make our marriage a lot better. Not to say that it's breaking our marriage because we choose each other every day. But yeah,
Mm.
make sure if you can, you know, have one or two couples that you're friends with.
Make sure you respect and honor the other half always.
Right.
Without respect and without honor, you can't have love
You
because
can't have a fulfilling and
yeah,
committed relationship that will withstand all of the obstacles that you'll face in life, period.
mm-hmm.
So if y'all have, any comments or feedback regarding this topic, definitely leave us a comment. And also, you like these type of videos and these discussions, you like the content, give us a thumbs up. Let us know.
Respond with a like.
Yeah. And definitely subscribe for more videos. We'll be doing at least 2 videos a week. Now that I'm back in the swing of things, I definitely can get them edited. It's not that much editing that I have to do, luckily, but I can definitely get at least 2 videos out a week because Chef and I, we're at a different phase in life, and we always are, having our little nightly session talks, and these different topics just come up.
Mm-hmm.
So what better way, to just get it out there and share it with you all too. So
Share the light.
yeah.
Share the light.
So thank y'all so much for tuning in. We're approaching almost 30 minutes. Wow. So until next time, y'all know to stay blessed, and
God
we'll
bless you.
talk to
Stay
you.
strong.
Bye.